right, we're back.
We're back. Yes.
Currently on travel.
Yes.
Undisclosed location. There.
Have a secret.
That was the biggest part of this week, I guess. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we should talk about us being gone. So we take notes, obviously, and I'm seeing the first thing on your notes is test systems. Because we're gone this week, it's been a little bit interesting with having the team kind of run itself over the last few days. I think we haven't really stepped away from the business super hard since probably we started. So this has been a really interesting kind of week, a few days, to see how they've been operating. But what are your thoughts?
I think that was the intent, but I think that actually did not happen because what we ended up doing was blocking our workup time mostly in the morning.
Yeah.
And so we had 3 hours in the morning of just meetings.
Yep.
And we would have done the same thing in the US.
That's true.
So in a way, we kind of failed there, but I think the thing that we did not do is everything after the meetings. And
Yeah.
another thing that was new this week was we took some meetings simultaneously, which
Yeah.
is kind of slightly different than in the past. So it was interesting. But I think what I've learned about being on vacation, at least today, because before I'm like, oh, I want to be on vacation.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I love and I am happier working and not being on vacation. That's
Yeah,
what
I can see that. You get stir crazy, I think, when you have too much time to sit around.
Exactly.
You need to be like doing something constantly, which I think is good.
And I think in this phase of my life as well, like I much more value like working on the business. And I think part of that is because we have traveled a lot already.
Yeah.
And like it's less like oh, I want to go travel.
Yeah, it's less of a novelty for us, especially because we just came back from a really long travel month in Cape Town, and I remember reflecting on us leaving for this trip and being like, oh man, this is so weird that we're like doing another trip back to back, which is funny because we did that 5-month, 14 country like marathon. But now I feel like I'm the same. I like being more settled and having the routine, as we said. But
It is cool though. I mean, like we are here and it's staying at an amazing resort.
yeah, and
Just a few steps away from the beach, nice views, nice sunset.
yeah.
Went on a pretty cool cruise. Sailing? What is it?
Yeah, it was like a sailboat.
Sailboat.
It was like a
So-
sailboat.
Shout out to Kayla's parents. Thanks for having us on this trip.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
What else did we do? What else were the highlights? Beach. We have massages on the beach and almost got washed up.
That's true. We literally got washed up yesterday.
What did we do as well? What was the first thing?
I feel like we've been just chilling by the pool a lot and working, to be honest with you. Which I don't mind either. But what are some of the things you want to talk about that we worked on this week while we were gone?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing in the company was starting off our new cold color
Yes.
and first week of fully using Kicksync, which has been going smooth.
That was really cool.
Little hiccups here and there, but Francis has got it up and running. And this week, your job was to start looking for a CRM.
Yes. Because we, as we've mentioned before, have been using the most on Google Sheets, which has been working, but I think until now, it's been kind of time to like transition to something new. But I'm really excited about it. I think if you want to talk a little bit more about what you told me last night about building systems.
What did I say?
Okay, basically the Spark Notes is like, I remember you came up to me last night and you're like, this feels so cool because we're finally like building the systems for business, which is new.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because, early in the business, we were just trying to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
And then now it's just like we're building people, the systems, and hopefully we're going to take ourselves out of the business.
Yeah, that would be really exciting. Sorry, by the way, we're in like a very kind of public area, so you might hear cars or people or noises, but it is exciting to basically be able to automate a lot of it and to not have to worry so much about it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like us being the break point.
Yeah, actually, I remember the feeling that you were talking about because I wasn't sure what you were saying. I got really excited last night because we're kind of slow right now with like client acquisition.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're like losing clients.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're really building a good base
Yeah.
for the business. I think Alex or Brandon, all of them, they say this, right? It's like to get to $100,000 is a very different base than like to get to $1 million, which is very different than
Yeah.
10 million, right? So we did what we did to get our MedSpa clients to make X amount every year.
Yep.
And now it's like we need to build a wider foundation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing, right? We're basically trying to build up our own ads for ourselves, our website, lead magnets, sales system with like cold callers and the CRMs and dialers, X, Y, and Z, right? And like getting better at the service delivery.
Yes.
And so all of these things we did not do last year.
No.
Because it wasn't the time.
Yeah.
And we hit a certain goal, and we're like, okay, now it's time to go for the next.
Yeah.
And in order to get to the next, we need to build systems, which is what's happened here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is the kind of foundational work that makes us better business owners, and makes our team better too, because they understand like a larger system than themselves, which is super, super cool.
And about our team, I think like we have rough days with our clients sometimes, but then that gets bounced out with the awesome work that's his team.
Yeah,
so
true.
Whenever we do the team, like, this is awesome. Let's
Yeah.
Like everyone's growing really, really well, and we make it.
Yeah, I mean, even not even like rough client days, but also just like rough life days. I feel like getting back into work and talking to the team really just brings me so much joy, like in my heart, and in my mind, that I feel so much better like after we're done talking to them and doing meetings and doing work. Like it's such a refreshing feeling for us, or at least for me.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's going decent. I think it's definitely good for being on vacation, and also made me reappreciate the value of. It's like a give and take, right? If you have a regular job, you have to like ask for permission to go. But then in a way, if you don't have your own business, you don't have to ask for permission, but then you have to kind of work while you're there.
Yeah.
At least for where we are in our business. So yeah. All right, learning for the week. So this week we did, we're going to WealthCon.
Yep.
I don't know if we should say that publicly. We're going to WealthCon.
We should.
And one of the things we've been trying to do is like brush up on the speakers.
Yeah.
So this week was all about Tim Grover. Never heard of him before until this week.
Never.
Like,
Yeah, so basically he was a coach for Kobe Bryant, the Mamba, and Michael Jordan. Yeah. So he now, I think he has his like own business that he does like all of these inspirational talks, and he works with athletes still. I think I need to double check that. But right now we're listening basically to a longer podcast of his, so we're breaking it down into chunks. And man, he's got some fire, that's for sure.
we're excited to maybe see him. Although I think our plan at the conference is to mostly focus on interacting with people who are there versus watching the speakers.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the other thing we wanted to do was we spent a week a few months ago learning about sales calls.
Yes.
But I think in the spirit of having a new team member, we revisited that topic. Mm-hmm. So we watched a few good cold calling videos and sent that out to the team.
Yeah. Hopefully they can gain some good insights off of it. And I think because we're saying we're going to WealthCon, if you see this video and you're also going to WealthCon, like come by, say hi, like don't be shy, because we'd love to network and see if we can help you out in your business anyway.
All right, so about reading, I'm reading deep work this week. Still reading deep work, actually much slower than I thought it was. I'm reading less compared to what I thought I'd be doing in memorization.
Yeah.
But I'll try to finish up in a week or two. I like the concept. It's just the book. I don't know if it's not registering with me, but it's not as entertaining as I thought it would be. But a lot of people hyped it up. I do, again, love the concept of what it's being taught.
Yeah.
But just the way it's being written. It's not like the most entertaining for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you feel like you're using the lessons from the book though in your day-to-day life at all, or do you feel like that's something that you're already kind of good at?
Yeah, I think because we've learned through it from Chris and Paulo, like the essence of what I think the essence of the book is, because I'm only 30% through.
Yeah.
I think I do it now anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to reinforce. And so far, what I've been picking up are just like examples or studies. So it doesn't really do too much like you should do this. So far, I don't know. They still have 70% to go. But
yeah.
How about you? You started a new book this week?
I did. I finished The Compound Effect. I'm on my second audiobook now called Mindset. It is actually a great book. I'm really, really enjoying it. It talks a lot about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, and how growth mindsets are better to have overall. And I love the examples they use. They're really good at using examples throughout the book. Like today, they were talking about this tennis player. It was like a really, really good tennis player, and they had a fixed mindset. So, for example, if they had a failure or if they lost a match, they would just be like, oh, well, this excuse or that excuse. They'd be like, well, I overtrained or I undertrained or I ate the wrong thing, or someone was eating chips in the stand and I got distracted. And it was very, he was very defeatist about it. And then on top of that, he never really saw himself as someone who needed to grow. Whereas they were comparing him to Michael Jordan, who was very humble about his success, always knew that he needed to keep going. So it was a very interesting kind of new reading.
Cool. How far are you from completing?
I'm a little before halfway.
Oh, halfway. Okay, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's mostly it. As you can tell, our recording conditions are not optimal.
No.
In the spirit of consistency, just getting it done. Next week, I'm super excited to get back to our ergonomics,
Yes.
our routine,
Yep.
and continue hopefully where we left off with 7.5 hours per day.
Yep.
And then I think the plan will be able to hit 8. If last week was any indication, I think 8 is going to be really pretty easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I was actually surprised in the last 2 weeks where we were hitting 7.5 like nothing, and it really helped that we were wake up earlier.
Yeah.
And currently, we think we're not going to be traveling for a while.
Hopefully.
I think we mentioned in the previous video, 2025 is the year of like having fun.
Yeah.
And in order to enable that, we need to make sure we're more successful this year.
Yeah, and we're disciplined by far. All right. So catch us next time, but don't forget to like
Subscribe.
and hit that bell notification.
Wait.
Oh, you're right. Cadet.
All right.
Peace.